Hi guys, today we're talking to Jonathan. He is a retired medical nurse and medical nurse. What kind of other nurses are there? And he's an English tutor on pre-ply. He's done 6,000 classes. He's got a wealth of experience and he really works for a very low price because he really wants to help people. So it's really, really nice to talk to him, talk about the human side of the business for once. Today we're not focusing so much on making money or getting ahead, just focusing on how to help people. Check it out.
Okay.
Okay, hi, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, David? Nice to meet you. My name is John or Jonathan.
Nice to meet you, Jonathan. What do you teach on Preply?
I am primarily an English teacher, but I also help kids with reading and writing and, basic math, maybe like up to algebra,
Oh,
algebra two,
nice. All
one and
right,
two.
cool. That's good.
Not an algebra teacher, but I was pre-med, so I understand the,
Yeah, I
basics.
was gonna say, I was looking at your profile and you have a medical background, right?
Yeah, more of a medical background and now education background.
So
Um,
tell me about that. What were you doing before you're teaching? Oh, first of all, how long have you been teaching on Preply for?
I'm what, 3 years, 2.5,
Yeah.
3 years.
And,
Yeah.
and then I saw you got into teaching because of a back injury. You had to stop
Yeah, I
doing.
got injury. Yeah, injury with back injury. And so I was a nurse for 22 years. Before that, I was pre-med and I couldn't get into medical school. So I went into nursing. And I was a nurse for about 22 years. And due to back injury, now I've gone into education.
Okay. Where do you live? You live in the United States?
Yeah, I live in San Luis, Arizona, Yuma County. Basically Yuma, Arizona area.
Okay, so you were a nurse for 20 years in the area.
Yeah. Well, California and Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. So, I can see why you make a transition from obviously if you have a physical injury to go from obviously it's a very physical job, being out there being a nurse, right? And then transitioning into online teaching. But I saw from your profile you were teaching specifically like nursing as well. You were giving
Yeah,
training.
I was a nursing educator even before I was going to. If I hadn't had the injury, I was transitioning. I was going to go in to get my master's in nursing education and becoming a nursing instructor. That was my.
And you
That
couldn't
was.
you couldn't continue that.
I can't lift more than 5 kilos.
So in order to be an instructor, you have to lift more than 5 kilos.
I have to be able to lift
You
patients.
have to be physical. Ah, okay, yeah, like you have just to teach is what I'm saying. There's no
Yeah,
way.
I can't. I can't help a patient in an emergency situation at this point in time. I cannot perform CPR. I can't bend over that well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so as an instructor, you'd have to be responsible for the whole
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah, if
What a
I mean,
bummer.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm getting pretty old for to be working in a hospital nurse. You don't see too many 50-plus-year-old nurses. Most 50-plus-year-old nurses are working in. They can still work until their 60s, but the hospital is for usually for
Yeah.
crowd under
The
50.
reason why I ask is because it's because of my father, right? And I see this a lot with my generation of teachers as well, is that there's a lot of people trying to get their parents into teaching as well. Because my father's just retired. He's 65 years old, and he used to do a physical job. So he's a mechanic or an engine. He's a mechanic. He used to be a welder, and he used to get so many injuries towards the end of his work. Between 60 and 65, he spent more time off sick than he was actually working because of hand injuries, shoulder injuries,
Yeah, yeah.
constant, right? So, but now he's retiring. So, and then because of COVID and because of lockdown, he's becoming like isolated in his house. So in order to avoid that happening, like the transition onto an online job like this is perfect because it allows him to have contact with people. He can do like 10 classes a week, and he's doing that right now. He's got 10
Oh,
classes a week
okay.
because of my help. And then I'm talking to a lot of people, especially in your situation, because I want to know about your transition into it and how comfortable you are doing it now. And obviously, if you've done 5,000 or 700 classes, which is a lot of classes, you know the space well. And I do see a few people on the platform doing this, a few people of retirement age, and they're going into it. But my real concern is like how familiar they are with the technology, how easy is it for them to work on the platform? Like, do they get a lot
That
of,
was that was hard for me was learning all of some of the computer stuff. I have a background in nursing, and I have basic familiarity with computers, but new things for me were learning how to use the digital camera, the uploading and downloading videos and stuff. So that was a transition. I had done before I even had I did a lot of healthcare training before I went into online English training. So I
so So sorry to interrupt, but that helps with the people interaction. It helps with
Yeah, yeah.
working with people.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to do first aid and CPR training, and different type of training with families and for large groups of like doctors and nurses and.
All right. So I mean, like that's in the education environment and passing on your specialist knowledge, and like I said, really working with people, making sure they really understand something.
Yeah. But I used to train people in CPR, first aid, and I used to work in home care a lot, and I used to train families in things like G-tubes and trachs and stuff.
So so you've been teaching on pre-apply for, like you said, the last 2-3 years.
2 or 3 years, about that. Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael, do you do anything else? Is this just a full-time job? Is it completely this?
Oh no, I have a I get decent disability income. So
I see your price is very low for someone in your position, right?
Yeah. I don't do it for money. So
yeah, I can see that because how much are you charging now?
It depends on what they can afford, really. I mean, I charge some at 10, and the only ones I charge at 10 are because they say, I'm not gonna, I won't give you less than 10.
Yes.
A couple said, yeah, I'll get at least 10. I said, okay, that's fine. But I charge 8 to 6 depending on what people can afford, and some people I've even gone as low as 3 if they can't afford to pay.
Wow, that's great. I also see on your profile that you're not accepting new students because you do have a very low price, so you must get flooded with.
Yeah, if I have left it open by accident a couple of times, and I had like 13 one time.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I mean, I just on the business side of point of view from the statistics, you must get I have to look at your statistics a bit more because you must get a lot of people asking you, like you said, 13 in a day, and that affects your response rate, it affects your statistics and stuff like that.
I mean, my schedule's, I'll show you my schedule. It's pretty full. I mean,
one second, I gotta give you permission to show.
But you can't record the calendar.
No, that's fine. I can cut that out. That's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just show you my calendar. Okay, wait a minute.
How much? Well, I'll ask you again afterwards when we put it back on again. How many hours do you work a day?
It varies. Okay, I mean, I'm single. I don't have family, and helping people is kind of like my passion. So like today,
well, I can see if you're a nurse, then you're sure. Yeah, if you're going to the medical route, wow, that looks intense.
You can see.
That looks about right. Oh my goodness, but I
mean, I took 2 hours off because I got to take care of a dog in the hospital, who's in the vet hospital. But basically, I start this morning at 5 and I end at 8 p.m.
Okay, that looks good.
It's pretty much solid.
Yeah. Okay, I have to ask you those questions again so we can edit them in. So can you tell me how many hours do you normally work a day?
Yeah, 8 to 9, probably 8 to 9.
8 to 9 hours of teaching. Oh wow, that's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to be doing every day, especially if it's not your full-time job. I mean, that is a full-time.
I haven't. Job. Yeah, well, it is, but teaching is a full-time passion, so that's the difference.
Okay, I understand.
I think my last day off I had was Christmas.
Oh my goodness, no. I'm really backpedaling on this because I spent a long time promoting, like, I'm trying not to work 80-hour weeks. So you tell me your schedule.
I work about 60, 50, 50 to 60. But you get cancellations, you get reschedules. So I mean, sometimes I work between 6 to 9 a day. It just totally varies, totally random.
But I can totally understand from your point of view. If you're doing it because you want to help people, then this is what I say to kids a lot. I get a lot of kids asking me, like my young students asking me, like, why get a job or why work hard? And then you start to explain that it's not all about the money. It's also about
it's not
actually helping people. So helping one more person, like you push to do that. You're helping 2 more people, 3 more people. You can totally working 10 hours and just helping people to achieve their goals, or helping people to get to where they want to be in life, getting past those administration challenges, like to get the qualifications so they can get to that job or they can go to that country. Those are big changes.
I've helped people in IELTS and TOEFL and TOEIC. I've helped them lately. It's been a lot of students been helping with job interviews. I have a lot of probably most of my students work in IT. So I'm helping them because they're working with native speaking clients or international clients, and the only language they have in common is English.
Do you get more clients in the United States, or are they more external?
It's not in the United States, external. I've got students from ages of 5 to 70.
Okay. So sounds like you teach everybody. You teach I saw this in your profile video. You teach everyone from kids all the way up.
Yeah.
But can you give me a little bit more information about that? Like, do you teach mostly kids, or what is your
It's about half and half, honestly. It's about half and half. I have most of my students are the kids are from 5 to about 12, and then most of my long-term students are, I'd say most of them are IT professionals from like 25 to 45 range. That's probably mostly adults.
Okay. For the school kids or for the younger kids, are you helping them with schoolwork? Are they following a course, or are they doing more international exams like you said, like the Cambridge exams or the IELTS?
Well, mostly helping them
TOEFL.
with reading and writing, actually. I'm helping a lot of American children with about 3 or 4 American kids. I'm helping with reading and writing.
Okay, so that's not teaching English as a foreign language, it's teaching English as a first language.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do they bring their own material? Do they say I have to read this for school, or do you provide your own material? Do you provide
a little both.
Okay.
Oh.
You told me earlier. You said you use a lot of external resources like off the class. Am I right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I use Option Class more and use Preply. And for the kids, I use a resource called ABC. You can that's a great one for the tutors that work with kids. ABC Rainbow Eggs has a lot of books, which are between 5 to 12, and it's great with the kids.
So is it free? Does it cost?
No, it costs me $14 a month, but I have access to several thousand children's books.
Okay, and you have those are books on screen that you can read like a regular book.
I can share a screen. Yeah,
fantastic.
It's an amazing resource. Share that ABC Rainbow Eggs for those tutors starting out. I can give you my reference. Engu is great. BBC News, Market Analysis for business, Wall Street Journal for some business stuff, BBC News, Engu, OptaClass, ABC Rainbow Eggs for the kids. And
I hear a lot about OptaClass. I have to check it out.
It's a great resource. But if you're in math, and actually give me your profile number. If I have students, I mean, I can help kids with Algebra 1 stuff, but if they need math tutor, I'm happy to send them your way. Sometimes I have.
Do you get any students doing SATs? I mean, obviously there's an English section to that, so I do the math section.
Sometimes, but but I do get a lot of requests from parents and kids asking for math, and it's like I'm straight. To help with Algebra 1 type stuff, I can help a little bit. But for other than that, it's time to look for a math tutor.
Okay, I mean, like, to be honest, I'm not getting any more new students these days because I'm packed. I'm completely fully booked. Like, you showed me your schedule earlier, and mine's about the same. You start at 5 a.m. I start at 5 a.m. as well. My normal, the best schedule for me since I've reduced it to make it healthier is from 5 a.m. until about 5 p.m. I try to do, that's my limit, because I burnt myself out too many times working incredible amounts of hours, ridiculous amounts of hours. And right now I'm trying to do a calmer period, which is just 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day instead of something like 17 or 16 or 17.
You work 16 hours a day?
Sometimes, yeah. And this is why I'm doing this interview.
My friend, that's
I know it's damaging to the health. So it's really dangerous over long periods of time. So,
yeah, it's not healthy.
No. So what I do is I talk to people like yourself, and like someone with so many classes done, and ask them how do you do it. Also, I'm going to ask you some health questions because you're a healthcare professional. I'm constantly doing this because talking to people on the forum, or talking to other tutors, I see people burn themselves out very quickly. They say like the algorithm is very strange, and this is purely because the algorithm, I'm sure, is that you go from a very, very quiet no students to suddenly you get like 5 in a week or 6 new ones in a week or something, and suddenly your schedule just blows up. And I'm of the mentality that I will accommodate them. I'll get you in, and no problem, I'll make some space, but it ends up being, my days end up being incredibly long, from 4 a.m. until midnight or something.
Yeah, I get a lot of students, and
You
I
must
think
you must say no to them. You must cut them off. I say I can't because your schedule's
sometimes
full.
I have to. And the other problem, I get a lot of trials, and sometimes I just don't have the hours they need. I get a lot of the because I'm to the point now where, I mean, I have a lot of the European and Asian students I just can't accommodate because they want classes in the early mornings. I have some openings in the afternoon a little bit, but I need like students from Brazil or Central or South America now, because I need some, or in US or Canada, because I need somebody from the same time zone, because I have openings in the afternoons, but not in the mornings.
What is your time zone?
I'm in Phoenix time zone.
I have no idea what that means. Like, what is that?
Arizona
GMT.
Arizona does not change its time. We're the only state and Alaska and Arizona are the only states that don't change our time.
Oh, good. Yeah, we have that. I live in Argentina, right? I'm in South America. That's why I'm asking you, because
Okay.
I'm 3 hours like after GMT. I'm like GMT +3 or something. I think you
It's
must be.
5:30 for me right now.
Oh wow. Okay, it's 9. Wow, it's in the morning. Good morning. I'm 9:30. Oh yeah, so you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, I would like to make a suggestion. I've seen a lot of problem with it, a lot of the new tutors. I've seen they want to charge a huge amounts of money, and the market's not going to bear that. We're going through tough economic times with COVID. I mean, a lot of these students, I mean, the international students, even the professionals will make $4 to $5 an hour. The American tutors just don't understand that. They cannot afford to pay more than 6 to 8. That's just reality. And even Americans right now are really being hit hard by the economic conditions of COVID. You can't charge more than, that, you may be able to find some, but if you want to keep busy and you want to keep, help people, you can't really charge a lot.
Yes. I do agree. I mean, this comes into, again, this goes back into business on the Preply platform, is how do you get ahead and how do you get up there? And
It's no, I mean, I work 7 days a week. I show up to every class unless the internet's down. I have a backup internet, and I have I have 3 computers. I have 2 backup computers set up in case I go down. I have 2 internets.
me too. I literally got 2
Yeah,
lines. I
yeah,
got 3 UPSs.
yeah,
Because I see it a lot in you see it with your students, obviously, in other countries, all around the world. People are like, oh, my internet just cut out, or we got lost power. So now, since I installed all my UPSs, I also moved town to go to a town where it has a better power supply. It doesn't cut out every day. It only cuts out once a week, and it's only for 5 minutes. So my UPSs handle that, and the internet handles that. And I do have, like I said, 2 lines. And I used
yeah.
to have 3 computers or 2 computers, because Windows always wants to do an update just when you need to do a class, or Apple, exactly the same thing. So I completely agree with you. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. Something else I wanted to ask you about that, because you're talking about the business side of it, right?
Yeah, and the big thing is, like, well, you probably done the same thing. It's availability, availability, availability. You can't put 3 to 4 hours a day on and expect to be
Yeah, but
full time.
this is what has destroyed me over the time, because I put my availability up so much, and I end up doing classes at midnight, to get the clients in, but also just to help people, because I do have students in Singapore and Hong Kong and Vietnam, and those times for them when they finish school is like it's like 3 a.m. for me, or they do homeschool as well, so they want classes at about 11 a.m. for them, which is about midnight for me. But that's also why I asked you about your time zone, because you're saying you don't have many shoots in the afternoon, or you're having trouble filling that, and you have more.
Oh, no, I have plenty. I mean, I have a
I know,
second.
I know.
I have a second job. I work. I can't mention because it's not, but I have a second platform I work.
Yeah.
It's more of like well, I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about. It's more like I don't have set students, so I take calls. So I don't. It doesn't interact with Preply. If I have a student cancel, I work a second platform. I pick up a few hours there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, great. I got to keep to most of the script. I got to keep asking you questions.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's like because it's fine. Like, it's really, really good to hear your point of view and hear all this. It's great. Yeah, one of my questions then is like I do have a lot of clients who call me off the platform. They call me off Preply. These days I'm working exclusively, basically all on Preply. I have been for the last 2 years, I suppose. But I do get a lot of word of mouth, people talking to other people and saying, oh, they recommend me and they contact me directly. And then my organization is basically just 2 whiteboards on the wall with all my clients written on it. I got about 15, let's say, off the platform, and they pay on PayPal or something. The problem is the organization and the structure about that.
Yeah. The calendar. I mean, Reality Preply is great because it has the calendar. They handle the billing, they handle marketing. I mean, I could do the marketing myself. I could do my own thing, advertise on Facebook and get my own clients, but I don't charge that much anyway. If I want to charge more, I could do that, but it's like, it's a hassle. You're going to spend an hour or two a day on marketing. You're going to have to handle all the PayPals and scheduling. I don't know, it just makes life easier, focus on teaching.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like that was the beauty of it, is that you can just get in there, get your head down, and like you can really focus on what you want to do, and what you want to do is help people. So you don't have to do all the administration and everything else. None of that is a problem. I totally agree. I do have I'm working on taking those key elements. What does pre-apply really do, and take those key elements, and then maybe I can reproduce them on another platform. So I have been doing that. I have done that. I've taken just the calendar. Everyone says the calendar because it does organize your life, doesn't it? And we were lost without the calendar. So there are other services that do just the calendar for like a set pay each week. But like I said, Jonathan, in your position, you're more concerned about helping people rather than making a profit on it. The only benefit would be it'd be less cost to the consumer. That's what I do, is I reduce the cost to my clients.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm probably much lower than you are anyway. So I'm not worried about it. I mean, for me, it works fine. I think after I pay for materials for students, I think I'm probably making about $50 a week.
Oh, right. Wow.
I really don't do this for profit.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I'd rather talk about the human side of it rather than the business side of it. In your case.
Yeah, but I'm just telling on new tutors that it's keep your prices low, have a lot of availability, and be there for your students. I correct papers and essays and resumes, CVs, and cover letters and journals and essays and stuff on my own time. Be there for your students. It's not about, the classes are not about you. It's about the student. Be there for them. Listen to their needs.
I totally agree. I mean, that's why we do it, isn't it? Why you help, why you teach people, because that's why teachers become teachers, not because of the pay. They become teachers because they really want to help people. I do see a lot of people who have worked in schools or have previous teaching experience are very successful on the platform. And also, again, from the business side, people who run their own business are very successful on the platform as well. And there's okay, from your point of view, Jonathan, because you're charging so little, I mean, this is why you're going to get so many clients in, because you're charging what, like $8 to $10 an hour. It's
actually a lot of them are $6, and I don't have any right now at $3. But if occasional student has no money, I'll charge them $3. It's just, I go by. Well, I mean, I would do it free, but I've done free before, and students don't show up.
Yeah, they don't respect it. Yeah, you have to get a bit of money involved. I tried to do it as well.
It's it doesn't work. I've worked with some of the immigrants coming into the United States. I speak a little Spanish. I'm not your level. I can make probably like A1, but I can speak a little bit of Spanish. And I've worked with the immigrants coming into the United States doing some volunteer work, and they don't show up to classes much.
I agree. That's why they pay for the trial class as well. There's no free classes, no free trials, to make them respect it. Even on other platforms, they still charge like a few dollars just to make sure you actually show up. Because if you pay a few dollars, you'll show up a lot more. The high rate of high rate of attendance. I wanted to ask you, like, why teach English if you're a qualified medical? If you work in the medical profession, why go into teaching English?
I do some. I do OET, and I do medical pronunciation with doctors, and I help a lot of nurses prepare for the NCLEX. I mean, I can NCLEX is a national test for nursing.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about actual nursing? Because I do.
I think I have 3 or 4 nurses I'm working with right now, and 4 or 5 doctors.
Is that in your profile?
I don't really focus on it too much, because it's a very niche market and there's not that many. I think I have, but the ones I'm working with right now are not, or focus more on conversation, not really on. But I have a couple of doctors I'm helping with medical pronunciation, and nurses. Once in a while, I help with the NCLEX or OET. So,
okay. I want to ask you again about working with kids. a lot of people I talk to a lot of people who are not qualified teachers, they're tutors. They had a bit of teaching experience, but they never worked in high schools or in elementary schools or middle schools. I want to ask you about teaching kids, because a lot of people say they're too much energy. They take it too much.
No, think of it differently. Think of, I mean, as far as what you want, long-term students, people want long-term students. I mean, I've had some kids who've been with me for almost 3 years.
Yeah, me too. And then,
Yeah,
like, I was thinking about this morning, actually, like, while you were still sleeping, probably. Like, I was thinking about this morning, like if, like, for my own daughter, for example, my daughter, this one, she's 10 years old, and she has an online tutor, and she's learning maths. I'm a math tutor, but I don't really have time to teach her. Also, it's very difficult to teach her own kids, because there's like a work life balance there, and it kind of gets blurred between them. So it's much easier to keep it external. And she's working with this online tutor, and she's doing very well. And she's been doing it for a long time. And, you know, it comes to the point where I really trust this teacher. I really trust this online teacher. So I know that they get on well, and you do more than just teach your subject. You also teach, you know, a bit of your personality. I don't want to go too preachy into it, but you do teach morals, and you teach like standards, and you teach, how do you say,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've had some couple of my kids who've been having some issues with plagiarism, and I caught them, and I said, I explained to them, I made them rewrite the essays. I said, yeah, I'm just your tutor, but if you do this in school, you're going to get in trouble. So you need to rewrite this. And I helped 3 or 4 kids who were, I've noticed that a lot of kids lately are doing they're spinning. They're taking essays from one thing and spinning it.
Oh yeah, what's that? Can you explain in a bit more detail?
This is a new thing. I mean, I'm a substitute teacher sometimes in normal schools. They're taking, like, junior and high school students are taking an article or one friend work by putting it through a thing called SpinBot, which takes the article or essay and rewords it, and so they're passing it off as their own work.
All right, what a SpinBot? I have to look that one up.
Yeah, you haven't.
Is that to avoid plagiarism then?
Yeah, they do that to avoid plagiarism, where they take one essay and they spin it. And one kid, and it's so obvious, but I mean, the teachers can pick it up, because that one essay is just a slightly different, and like 4 or 5 kids have the same essay, but just a little bit different. I mean,
what is it? It does it artificially? Does it using artificial intelligence, or just like?
Yeah, you say, yeah, it takes an article and it spins it and puts it in your own words.
Ah, no way. Oh,
yeah, wow. Kids are doing that. The kids are, I mean, some of these kids are, they spend more time on the cheating than they do on actually doing the essay.
Yeah, they're very resourceful. I know. Okay,
it's crazy.
This is no worries. What kind of setup are you using?
I have a Asus computer. I have a digital camera. I have
what kind of camera are you using? Are you using a webcam?
Yep.
Or is it like a more advanced, like photography camera? Like a...
Oh no, it's a Logitech. I paid 50 for it on Amazon.
Good. All right, that's nice. Yes, one of my students uses those. I can't get them in Argentina. They're very difficult to get hold of good technology. And it does have an autofocus feature, and sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth. The one I'm using is a copy of that Logitech, and it doesn't have any autofocus. You can see it doesn't change. It just stays at one focus, which means it's fine. The depth of field just stays like this. I can see your headset is the same as mine. I'm using a Logitech headset with
I love Logitech.
So good. It's so good. This was a life-changing experience. It doesn't squash your head. It's nice and soft.
Yeah. I have 4 of them in my house.
Yeah,
I love Logitech headsets, the digital cameras. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I heard on your, I see you fixed it now, but I heard on your profile video, I think you have a buzzing in the background, which is caused by these headsets, and it needs to be properly earthed. When you plug it into a laptop, the earth has to be good in order to stop that buzzing. But apparently you fixed it now, because I can't hear it anymore. So you're either using a different setup or a different combination.
I'm not techie oriented. I should probably redo my video. Really, my profile score is not that good.
Also off the record, so let me ask you some more questions then about your journey over the last couple of years. You told me how you got into it, your motivations for that. You told me your equipment. I want to know, what about any health factors? What do you look after? Because I'm always very conscious about looking after my own health, so I can work long hours.
The sitting, if you need to, tell your students, I'm going to have to stand. You need to stand.
Yeah.
Don't sit for more than like an hour or two. Yeah. I mean, I've been sitting in the interview, but after this next class, I'm going to be standing.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Do you have a standing desk, or do you just
No,
do you
I said,
rearrange things?
I just stand up
Yeah.
and,
So do you talk the camera so they can see you?
no, I just, say I just do it standing.
Okay.
I have a really bad back and I
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
to.
yeah. But that, of course. I mean, oh, I'm sorry if you don't mind me asking. How did you get a bad back?
Oh, I moved a patient well, not improperly. I just didn't get enough help.
Okay, okay. So
And
you
patient,
you put your back out doing heavy lifting,
yeah.
okay, or improper lifting, or in your job as a paramedic.
Well, no, I was a nurse. I was a ICU and trauma nurse, actually.
Okay, okay, okay. It's just because I'm very conscious about that, obviously, with all our kids in
Oh yeah, yeah,
schools.
absolutely. You need to, and I always stress everybody, if you can't move it with your foot, get help. This is the biggest one.
Okay,
And
that's a good piece of advice.
always lift, don't lift from your back, lift up with your knees. Proper body mechanics is key to your back health.
Yeah. I was more going towards sitting for long periods.
Oh, sitting for long periods?
Is dangerous, right? It's damaging for our health, and I especially, but
Absolutely.
especially with kids. I mean, I have a couple of kids now doing online classes as well because the COVID lockdown. So they spend 6 hours doing online classes, and then they spend an extra hour with me as well. So I like a standing desk has really, really helped me a lot. I got a standing desk a few years ago. I literally just took a regular table and added some extra legs on the bottom of it with some screws. And I got a nice tall chair, which is like adjustable. So as you can see, I'm standing up, and it really adds a lot of flexibility. Like I don't have any back problems. I used to in school, when you go into school, you got to sit down for 5 or 6 hours in those uncomfortable chairs. I think it's
Yeah.
so hypocritical of our society to force kids to sit down in school.
Yeah, it's standing is, you want to about every hour you want to you can sit down for about an hour. You want to stand up for a little bit and you can sit down again. Sitting for 6 to 8 hours without, it's bad for your back, bad for circulation.
What about your eyes? Do you do anything to look after your eyes?
I've heard about these anti-glare lenses that are supposed to be really good for your eyes.
Yeah.
The anti it's like a blue lens or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's what Armin told me in the last interview. He said you should get some anti-blue glasses. It cuts out the blue light. But I don't know how to get a hold of them. But okay, great. I have red filters on my screens a little bit, but I work in a well-lit environment. I have a big window. I have lots of lights around. So I was just wondering, like, if there's anything, do you find you have eye strain if you're working such long hours? You said you're working like 10
You
hours.
work more than I do. You work more than I do. I mean,
Well, this is why I'm constantly asking, because I'm
yeah, no, I don't get a problem with eye strain. I get a problem with my voice. That's why I try not to work long more than like 10 hours a day, because really I have a hard time talking after about 10 hours. My voice gets sore and my back.
Do you take any special care of that? Do you have any home remedies, or?
Not really. I mean,
I was
gargle
just looking.
salt water.
I was just looking at that actually. Like people on the forum, they're talking about that as well. Like how to look after your voice. Obviously, as an English teacher or as any teacher, it's very
Yeah,
important.
don't overdo it. I mean, you're hitting a lot harder than I am. Just limit, 8, 9 hours a day. That's if you need to work more, then think
Yeah.
about doing something else besides teaching, because it's not.
What about your hands? You're spending what? I mean, I just learned about carpal tunnel properly in depth a couple of months ago. Luckily, I've never suffered from it. I use a mouse, and I use a drawing tablet for most of my classes to avoid. So I'm using a pencil basically to avoid using like the clicky stuff all the time. Or do you have any problems, or do you have any special equipment for your mouse or your
No,
keyboard?
I'm exploring a text to talk, voice to text program. I downloaded. I'm exploring that option so that I can verbally state that. I usually type out. Yeah, but this is one thing I recommend to tutors. Type out the students' mistakes. A lot of them like to record the sessions. Type out every mistake. This is something that I really like.
Oh yeah. You mean at the end of the class, they have a resume, they have a sheet that has all the mistakes on it, or you
Yeah,
annotate their work.
yeah. and also, and then tell them what areas that they need to improve on. So it's a grammar-based situation. Don't do grammar lessons in classes with students. They get bored so
I
easily.
used to teach English as a second language
Oh,
because I live in
do
South
not.
America.
Yeah,
And
do not do grammar.
I used to
They get,
teach, I used to teach to the book because was working in a school.
oh,
We had these private schools, like the whole world has these little private schools of after school clubs, and I used to teach all these kids. I did it for 6 years. And in the fourth year, I said, we're not going to use the book anymore. And the kids were like, yeah, no more books. And then, so we still learned all the vocabulary and everything, but we didn't do the book straight away. What we did was we played loads of games. I just used flashcards. We made up flashcards of all the vocabulary in the book. We played a whole bunch of games with this. Also, it allowed us to start talking about their personalities and about, we can get really deep into, and I'm sure you see this as a teacher, to really get a conversation going. You start talking about something that they're very interested in. And once you can find that hook, you can find something they're really passionate about. Suddenly it doesn't matter what language they're speaking. So they just want to tell you about it, right? They just want to talk about, like, they do roller skating professionally, or a lot of kids have, I get a lot of people doing competitions and they're really semi-professional, like, like doing like martial arts, or they're really, really passionate about something. And then if you can get into that as a topic area, of course,
yeah,
they'll go off on that and it'll be absolutely fine. But you can't do that with grammar. I stopped teaching a long time ago, unfortunately.
yeah. For me, I'm like I have a telescope. I'm an amateur astronomer. I'm really into astronomy, and so this is something that I with some of my older, 30 plus crowd, we talk about astronomy a lot in space and stuff. So that's a big thing. My specialty, I would say, subspecialty. Another thing which I recommend to all the tutors is after class, each student get their own profile. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I see that with other. I'm not using it because it isn't. I don't know if it has math sections on it, but I'm using other online resources, and they do like it. Like, especially parents like it to see how their kids are progressing. You can get
Yeah.
progress reports on it,
Yeah.
and it keeps everything nice and organized. It's no longer just your opinion as a teacher. It's now your opinion mixed with the data from the website as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can really show progress, and like, as you're talking about long-term students over many years. It helps you keep track of everything, but also, what I do this a lot actually with client satisfaction. So the parents will occasionally ask, like once every few months, once every 6 months, they'll say, oh, how's my kid doing? So I always give a very, very long, detailed explanation about how I think they're doing professionally, like from the personality point of view, what I think, how they're doing as kids. If I see anything a bit, a bit like troubling, a bit worrying, I let them know about that. Actually, no, I talk to the kids first. But then I can give a very, very detailed explanation about like how they've progressed and where they've come from and where they're going to. Like, so that is paid websites really help for that, because they give, like you said, they give a stats page for every student. That's really good. So I want to ask you a little bit about the future, because we've only got a few more minutes left and we have to start.
Okay, sure.
What do you think? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Do you want to continue doing this, or?
Oh yeah. But I might get. They're starting to get into something called telenursing. I may start becoming a nurse working from home.
Yeah, that'd be back into. I mean, that's your calling, isn't it? I mean, like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate. I mean, I love education, but my calling is nursing. Well, I still teach, but I would like to maybe do a few hours a week of telenursing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when I was in university, I lived with 2 nurses, and the amount of work you have to do is incredible. It's so much. It's like they changed the laws in England when I was there, so the nurses ended up having to double the amount of work they did in previous years. But it was a lot of work. It's incredible amounts of work. So I would have thought, there's a lot of people who need your help, especially your specialist knowledge about nursing. That's why I keep saying it, rather than just English. I mean, like, teaching English is great, but then
there's just not a big demand for it, honestly. The big demand.
Do you not think?
No, not really. I haven't really. I sometimes sure, but
I don't think there's a big supply of it. I think the reason why there's not a big demand online is because no one's really publicizing it, because there's not people like you.
Oh yeah, there are. There's Titan, and there's Titan. There's a couple of things that it's just I find nurses and doctors I love working with them, but they're not really good students.
Okay.
They cancel too much.
Are they're quite closed?
No, I mean,
they cancel too much. You mean they're too busy?
Yeah, it's just that's the problem. I love working with doctors and nurses, but on a personal level, but on a business professional level, they're not the best students. They cancel too much.
Yes, I mean, you must see that as well. Just generally, is that the adults, working professionals tend to cancel a lot more than kids. Kids always come to class because their parents make them. They say, "Don't you forget your class?" And
Yeah.
then the worst students are going to be the adults. They never do their homework if you give them any, and because they don't have time. And then they do cancel, reschedule all the time because they're too busy doing other things. Of course. That's really good. Thanks very much. I think that's about it. I think we got to stop. Yeah. So.
Pleasure.
It's just I want to ask you one more thing, which was like the online teaching is great. You really want to get into something more like nursing. I was going to ask, what do you think about, because you've been in this space for so long, where do you think it's heading? Because I've seen a lot of people saying over the last, a lot of things have happened in the last couple of years. A lot of things like with COVID, with lockdowns, schools changed, schools have gone much more online, now they're going back again. Over this last couple of months, over the summer, people have seen a dip in classes because of what I think is that people have spent so long closed up in their houses, they can finally get out and go back to, get outside again. So everyone's taking breaks and things. Have you seen a dip in classes over the last, over the summer months, over August and September?
No.
No, because of what you do and how you do it. This is another thing as well, is I do talk to a lot of English tutors about, because the English environment on the Preply platform is so saturated. There's 12,000 tutors or something, and there's so many people just trying to get in there, asking like, how do I do it? So I see that you have created a niche for yourself because of what you do, because of your motivations, really, because you're low cost native speaker, and there's not many people else are doing that. 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have to stop. Thanks for coming on. Well, Lena,
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks for sharing us with all your knowledge and information that you have. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk again later. Thanks so much. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Nice, sir.